Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! In the golden hour of the day, Donovan stood by the window, his nervous energy adding to the vibrant ambiance. As the sunlight danced through the curtains, he fidgeted with his collar, his reflection revealing his anxious anticipation. This third date with Madison evoked a unique blend of excitement and calm within him, a feeling he couldn't quite explain. Just then, a soft knock interrupted his thoughts. He opened the door, and there she was, Madison, with a radiant smile that softened his heart. Her brown hair framed her face and fell gracefully around her, like nature's own masterpiece. "Hello, Donovan." Her voice carried a playful tone as she greeted him with a swift, cheeky kiss. "Dinner's almost ready." As they settled onto the couch with glasses of wine, conversation flowed easily between them. Donovan found himself captivated by Madison's infectious laugh and the way her eyes lit up when she spoke about her passions. "So, what do you do for work?" he asked, taking a sip of his Cabernet. Madison's eyes sparkled. "Well, for the past few years I've been working in marketing, but before that, I actually had a pretty interesting gig as a pageant coach." Donovan's eyebrows rose in surprise. "Really? I never would have guessed. What was that like?" "Oh, it was a whirlwind," Madison said with a chuckle. "Lots of long days, plenty of drama, but also incredibly rewarding. I loved helping my clients find their confidence and shine on stage." As Madison launched into a story about a particularly memorable pageant, Donovan found his mind wandering. He'd always been fascinated by the world of women's fashion and beauty, though he'd never dared admit it to anyone. The idea of transforming oneself, of embodying grace and femininity, held an allure he couldn't quite explain. "Donovan? Earth to Donovan." Madison's voice broke through his reverie. She was smiling at him curiously. "Where'd you go just now?" He blinked, feeling his cheeks grow warm. "Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about how interesting that must have been. All the costumes and makeup and everything." Madison tilted her head, studying him with a thoughtful expression. "You know, you seem pretty intrigued by all this. Is that something you're into? Fashion and beauty stuff?" Donovan froze, his heart pounding. He'd never told anyone about his secret interest, always afraid of being judged or misunderstood. But there was something in Madison's eyes, a warmth, an openness, that made him want to trust her.
Well,
he stammered, taking a deep breath.
"To be honest, yes. I've always been fascinated by it, especially women's fashion and makeup. I know it might sound weird."
To his immense relief, Madison's face lit up. "Are you kidding? That's not weird at all. It's awesome that you're interested in that stuff." She leaned in, lowering her voice conspiratorially. "Want to know a secret? I still have a ton of my old pageant coaching supplies. Wigs, makeup, the works. We could play around with it sometime, if you want." Donovan felt a rush of excitement and nervousness. "Really? You wouldn't mind?" Madison reached out and squeezed his hand. "Of course not. In fact, I'd love to show you some tricks of the trade. It'll be fun." As the evening progressed, Donovan felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. For the first time, he could be completely honest about this part of himself. When Madison left that night, they had plans for her to come over the following weekend with her pageant supplies. The next few days crawled by, with Donovan alternating between excitement and anxiety. When Saturday finally arrived, he paced nervously around his apartment, straightening pillows and rearranging books until the doorbell rang. Madison breezed in, arms laden with bags and suitcases. "Ready for your transformation?" she asked with a grin. Donovan nodded, a mix of nerves and anticipation coursing through him. "I think so. Where do we start?" "First things first," Madison said, pulling out a sleek makeup case. "Let's start with a good skincare routine and some basic makeup. Take a seat." For the next hour, Madison guided Donovan through a series of steps, cleansing, moisturizing, applying foundation and concealer. She showed him how to contour his cheekbones and nose, blending everything seamlessly. "Now for the eyes," she said, selecting a palette of neutral shadows. "Close your eyes and relax." Donovan felt the gentle sweep of brushes across his eyelids, listening intently as Madison explained each step. When she finally handed him a mirror, he gasped. His eyes looked bigger, more alluring, framed by perfectly applied eyeliner and mascara.
"Wow," he breathed. "I can't believe that's me."
Madison beamed. "You're a natural! Now, let's move on to clothes. I brought a few options I thought might work well for your body type." She pulled out a pink pencil skirt and a floral blouse, along with a pair of classic black pumps. Donovan's heart raced as he changed into the outfit, marveling at the feel of the soft fabric against his skin. When he emerged from the bathroom, Madison clapped her hands together in delight. "Oh my gosh, you look amazing! How do you feel?" Donovan turned to look in the full-length mirror, his breath catching in his throat. The person staring back at him was beautiful, feminine, graceful.
"I feel incredible,"
he said softly. Madison stood beside him, smiling warmly. "You know, you need a name for this side of yourself. Any ideas?" He thought for a moment, then smiled. "How about Haley?" "Haley," Madison repeated, nodding approvingly. "I love it. It suits you perfectly." Over the next few weeks, Madison and Donovan, now Haley when dressed, fell into a comfortable routine. They'd spend evenings and weekends together, with Madison teaching Haley everything from walking in heels to perfecting her makeup technique. "The key to walking in heels," Madison explained one afternoon, "is to lead with your hips and take smaller steps. Here, watch me." Haley observed carefully as Madison demonstrated, then attempted to mimic her movements. At first, she wobbled precariously, but with Madison's patient guidance, she gradually grew more confident. "That's it!" Madison cheered as Haley successfully navigated the length of the living room. "You're getting it!" As Haley's skills improved, so did her wardrobe. Together, they went shopping, selecting an array of feminine outfits. More pencil skirts in various shades of pink, floral blouses, and a collection of pumps and strappy sandals. One evening, as they sat on the couch after a particularly successful makeup lesson, Madison turned to Haley with a thoughtful expression. "You know, there's one more thing we haven't worked on yet. Your voice." Haley's eyes widened. "My voice? I didn't even think about that." Madison nodded. "It's an important part of the overall presentation. Want to give it a try?" For the next hour, Madison guided Haley through various exercises, teaching her how to speak from a higher register and add a more melodic quality to her words. It was challenging, but Haley found herself enjoying the process. "Remember," Madison said, "it's not about completely changing your voice. It's about finding a feminine version of your natural speaking voice." Haley practiced diligently, working on her voice even when Madison wasn't around. She'd talk to herself in the mirror, record herself speaking, and listen back critically. Slowly but surely, She began to develop a voice that felt authentically feminine. As the weeks turned into months, Haley's confidence grew. She no longer felt nervous about dressing up or applying makeup. It had become a natural part of who she was. Madison was there every step of the way, offering encouragement and support. One Saturday afternoon, as they were getting ready for a night out, Madison paused in the middle of applying Haley's eyeshadow.
"You know," she said softly, "I'm really proud of you. You've come so far."
Haley felt a warmth spread through her chest.
"I couldn't have done it without you," she replied, her voice full of emotion.
"You've been amazing, Madison." Madison set down the makeup brush, taking Haley's hands in hers. "Can I be honest with you about something?" Haley nodded, suddenly nervous. "Of course." "When we first started dating, I was drawn to Donovan," Madison began. "But getting to know Haley, watching you blossom and become more confident, I've fallen in love with both sides of you." Haley's heart soared. She leaned in, pressing her forehead against Madison's. "I love you too," she whispered. "All of you." Their lips met in a tender kiss, full of promise and understanding. When they pulled apart, both women were smiling, their eyes shining with unshed tears of joy. "So," Madison said, picking up the makeup brush again. "Ready to finish getting gorgeous for our date?" Haley grinned. "Absolutely." As they continued their evening routine, Haley marveled at how far she'd come. From those first nervous moments of admitting her interest in women's fashion to now, confidently embracing her feminine side and finding love with someone who accepted her completely. The journey hadn't always been easy. There had been moments of doubt, of fear, of wondering if she was making the right choice. But with Madison by her side, offering unwavering support and guidance, Haley had found the courage to be true to herself. As they left the apartment that evening, Haley in a stunning pink dress and Madison in an elegant black pantsuit, they walked hand in hand, ready to face the world together. Haley knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she had the strength and support to overcome them. Their relationship had deepened in ways neither of them could have anticipated when they first met. Madison's background as a pageant coach had given her the skills to help Haley explore her femininity, but it was her compassion and open-mindedness that had truly made the difference. In the months that followed, Haley continued to grow and evolve. She began to integrate elements of her feminine side into her daily life, even when she wasn't fully dressed as Haley. A touch of mascara here, a slightly more feminine shirt there. Small changes that made her feel more authentic and comfortable in her own skin. Madison encouraged this integration, always emphasizing that there was no right way to express gender. "It's all about what feels true to you," she would say. "Whether that's full glam Haley or a more subtle blend of Donovan and Haley." Their circle of friends gradually expanded to include others in the LGBTQ+ community, providing Haley with a supportive network of people who understood and celebrated her journey. She found particular comfort in connecting with other individuals, exploring their gender identity, sharing experiences, and offering mutual support. One lazy Sunday morning, as they lounged in bed, Madison propped herself up on an elbow and gazed at Haley thoughtfully. "You know, I've been thinking," she began. "Have you ever considered taking things further? Like exploring medical options?" Haley's breath caught in her throat. The thought had crossed her mind, but she'd always pushed it aside, afraid to even contemplate it. I don't know," she admitted. "It's scary to think about." Madison nodded understandingly. "Of course it is. And there's absolutely no pressure. I just want you to know that if it's something you decide you want to explore, I'm here for you, every step of the way. Tears welled up in Haley's eyes. She reached out, pulling Madison close. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. For accepting me. For loving me. For seeing me. Madison kissed her softly. Always, she murmured against Haley's lips. As they lay there, wrapped in each other's arms, Haley felt a sense of peace wash over her. She didn't know what the future held, whether she'd decide to pursue medical transition or continue as she was. But she knew that with Madison by her side, she had the strength to face whatever lay ahead. The journey of self-discovery and acceptance was ongoing, full of challenges and triumphs. But as Haley drifted off to sleep, her head resting on Madison's chest, she knew one thing for certain. She was exactly where she was meant to be, becoming the person she was always meant to be. In the coming weeks, Haley began to seriously consider the possibility of medical transition. She spent hours researching online, joining support groups, and even scheduling a consultation with a gender therapist. Madison was there every step of the way, offering a listening ear and a supportive shoulder. Remember, Madison said one evening as they pored over information together. This is your journey. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. Haley nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. I think I want to try hormone therapy, she said softly. But I'm scared. Madison took her hand, squeezing it gently. That's completely normal. It's a big decision. But you're not alone in this, okay? With Madison's unwavering support, Haley began the process of medical transition. The first few months were a roller coaster of emotions, excitement at the changes she began to see, fear of the unknown, and moments of doubt. But through it all, Madison was her rock. As Haley's body began to change, so did her confidence. She started venturing out as Haley more often, no longer confining her feminine expression to the safety of their apartment. At first, it was terrifying. Every glance from a stranger sent her heart racing. But with time and practice, she began to hold her head high, embracing her true self in public. One particularly memorable day, they decided to have a picnic in the park. Haley wore a flowing pink sundress, her brown hair styled in soft waves. As they spread out their blanket under a shady tree, Haley noticed a young girl watching them curiously. "Mommy," the girl said loudly to her mother. "That lady has such pretty hair." Haley froze, unsure how to react. But before she could panic, the mother smiled warmly at her. "It is beautiful," she agreed. "You both look lovely today." Tears pricked at Haley's eyes as she managed a grateful, "Thank you." Madison squeezed her hand, beaming with pride. That night, as they lay in bed, Haley turned to Madison. "I can't believe how far we've come," she said softly. "When we first met, I never could have imagined this." Madison propped herself up on an elbow, gazing down at Haley with love in her eyes. "I always knew you were special," she said. "I'm just grateful I get to be part of your journey." Haley reached up, cupping Madison's face in her hand. "You're not just part of my journey," she whispered. "You're my destination." As they kissed, Haley felt a sense of completeness she'd never experienced before. She was Haley, fully, truly, unequivocally Haley, and she was loved, accepted, and celebrated for exactly who she was. The future stretched out before them, full of possibilities. There would be challenges, of course. Society wasn't always kind to those who defied expectations. But Haley knew that with Madison by her side, she could face anything. Their love story wasn't conventional, but it was theirs. A tale of self-discovery, of acceptance, of two people finding each other and creating a safe space to be their truest selves. As they drifted off to sleep, limbs intertwined, Haley felt a profound sense of gratitude for the twist of fate that had brought Madison into her life. In the years that followed, Haley and Madison's relationship continued to deepen and evolve. They faced challenges together, from Haley's ongoing transition to the occasional bout of discrimination, but their bond only grew stronger with each obstacle overcome. Haley's career took an unexpected turn when she decided to use her experiences to help others. Inspired by Madison's background in pageant coaching, she began offering makeover services and confidence-building workshops for other transgender individuals exploring their feminine expression. "You've come full circle," Madison remarked one day as they prepared for one of Haley's workshops. "From student to teacher." Haley smiled, adjusting her pink blazer in the mirror. "I had a pretty amazing teacher," she replied, winking at Madison's reflection. Their home became a safe haven for others in the LGBTQ+ community, often hosting gatherings and support group meetings. Haley found immense fulfillment in being able to offer the same kind of support and guidance that Madison had given her. As they approached their 5th anniversary, Madison surprised Haley with a proposal. It was a quiet, intimate moment in their living room, the same place where Haley had first admitted her interest in women's fashion all those years ago. "Haley," Madison began, her voice trembling slightly as she got down on one knee. "You've shown me what true courage and authenticity look like. You've taught me the meaning of unconditional love. Will you marry me?" Tears streaming down her face, Haley nodded emphatically. "Yes," she managed to choke out. 1,000 times yes." Their wedding was a celebration of love in all its forms. Haley wore a stunning white gown, her brown hair styled in an elegant updo. Madison opted for a chic white pantsuit. Surrounded by friends, family, and the community they'd built together, they exchanged vows that honored their unique journey. "I promise to always see you," Madison said, her voice thick with emotion. "To love every version of you, past, present, and future." Haley's vows were equally heartfelt. "You gave me the courage to become who I truly am," she said. "I promise to spend the rest of our lives showing you how grateful I am for your love and support." As they sealed their vows with a kiss, cheers erupted from their guests. It was a moment of pure joy, a celebration of love that knew no boundaries. In the years that followed, Haley and Madison continued to build their life together. They faced the usual challenges of any married couple, but their foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and unwavering support saw them through every obstacle. They even began to discuss the possibility of starting a family, exploring options like adoption or surrogacy. The idea of raising a child in a home filled with love and acceptance, teaching them the value of being true to oneself, filled them both with excitement. One evening, as they sat on their porch watching the sunset, Haley turned to Madison with a smile. "You know," she said softly, "I never thought I could be this happy, this complete." Madison leaned in, resting her head on Haley's shoulder. "Me neither," she admitted, "but I wouldn't change a thing about our journey." As the sky turned a brilliant shade of pink, mirroring Haley's favorite color, they sat in comfortable silence, hands intertwined. Their story was one of transformation, of love, of finding oneself and finding each other. It was a testament to the power of acceptance and the beauty of embracing one's true self. In that moment, watching the day fade into night, Haley felt a profound sense of peace. She was exactly where she was meant to be, with the person she was meant to be with. And whatever the future held, she knew they would face it together. Two souls intertwined, stronger for the journey they had shared.
Thanks for watching, my girlies. Be sure to check out Patreon for more.